So how can your story make you money? Hi, I'm Brian Pombo with brianjpombo.com, and here today I'm going to be talking about origin stories and how you can weave it into your business and actually make you money in the long run. I wanted to bring it up last time because I was talking about the chat I had with Dave Pruett yesterday, and that is a guy that has a really cool origin story. Go and look him up. He's over at amp-3.net. You go and look him up. I think it says something about his story on his website, and you can also find it over on his YouTube, which I'll link down below. And he's got a really cool story about what brought him into the preparedness scene. And there's a lot of people with a lot of great stories. Another great story is one by Mark C. Robinson, who is a fellow that I interviewed. He's the head of WalkinPets.com and HandicapPets.com. And you can go and listen to his story. It's episode 3 of the Off the Grid Biz podcast. I'm going to put that link down below. You can go and listen to that one too. And just a little bit about my own story. I'll tell you a little bit about me. It's a lot like this guy, a lot like Luke Skywalker. Okay, and that all follows along. If you could take your story, let me digress a bit. If you can take your story and have it fit into the overall theme of the hero's journey, of somebody that starts from nothing but has a dream of where they're going, they have guides that help take them there, they start moving in that direction, they fall back at some point, and then they finally get themselves back on the right track and find themselves to the right place. This is what they call the hero's journey. You can look that up about Joseph Campbell. He was one of the ones that inspired the writing of Star Wars to begin with, and the whole story of Luke Skywalker, and then his father Anakin Skywalker, and so on, so on, so on. It all came back from that hero's journey and that concept. And they found, the one thing you'll find of every good story, it has some connection back to that. The stories that really resonate with most people long term have some type of element of hero's journey to it. And so back to my story. I grew up working on the family cattle ranch. Those of you who know me well know the whole story behind that. It's my grandfather's ranch. My father worked there. I worked there. And it's one of those things where you're always looking beyond. It's like, where do I go from here? Where are the great places that I can be other than where I'm at right now? And I loved my family and I love the ranch life, but I was always looking to move outward. I was always interested in entertainment for some strange reason. I really, really liked entertainment. I liked any form of media whatsoever. And I really thought that that's where my place was going to be. For most of my childhood, all the way up to my early 20s, my mid-20s, I thought that's where I was going. And I had a partial point in there during early in college where I thought I might want to be a teacher. That also held a lot of interest for me. It didn't happen. Neither of those things happened. Actually, my life went a completely different direction. And then I ended up in a business of all places, and I started playing around with the concepts of marketing, internet, and SEO, and online marketing, and all the rest of this stuff, and ended up to where I am right now. And my whole business model has taken a turn to where it's becoming more about entertainment, more about media, and also with an element of teaching involved in it. So it's a funny little loop that it's taken. At least thus far, it's been a really interesting journey, and I'm sure I could flesh that out a little more and make it a little more interesting. But if you could take your story and actually make it interesting, go listen to Mark's story. Mark's story has tragedy with it, everything else, and it dovetails perfectly with his entrance into creating WalkinPets.com. It's an amazing story. And I mean, even if a person had to make it up, it would be worth it. I don't want you to go out and lie about how you got to where you were. But definitely find the romance in your story and start putting it out there. I know none of us like to, I mean, even the most egotistical people don't like talking about themselves over and over and over again. They at least want to find something else to throw in there while they're talking about themselves. But I found that I've never seen a business owner that talked about their story, that brought it up on an ongoing basis, and if it was a good story, if it resonated with people, that it didn't take them places, that it didn't allow them to become real to the person and to become more of the type of person that people know, like, and trust, which we've talked about in earlier episodes. Someone that goes in a little further in depth than this, and I know this guy's all over social media, so I'm sure you've heard of him. It's Russell Brunson, who wrote Expert Secrets. Expert Secrets talks about this story. It actually goes into the concept of an epiphany bridge and everything else. Really interesting stuff if you ever get into it, and we'll talk about more on that later. But find a way to get where you need to go by telling good story. It doesn't necessarily need to be about you. It may be about something a lot bigger, but obviously the people that are working with you and everything else, they play into that. And if you like to find a way to take some of these elements and weave them into your business, it's one of the things that I do for people, is actually help step back and take a look at their whole business and say, okay, how can we change the story? How can we move it or put it out there in a different way to really start attracting people and create your dream business? And so I work with a lot of people in self-reliance field, in the self-reliance space. So it doesn't matter whether you're working in animal health, natural animal health, like Mark Robinson, or whether you're working in energy independence, like Mark has also worked in his past. Those are all areas that I consider to be self-reliance. And if you have a business that is helping people to become more self-reliant, you're someone I'd like to talk to, go to dreambizchat.com and you can sign up to have a free chat with me. Just fill out the application, and if everything works out, we'll sit down and talk. Other than that, I will see you on the next episode. The next one, we're going to be talking about the difference between responding and reacting, and how this is literally a life and death difference in how you show your attitude, and how your inner attitude affects everything else in life, and of course affects your business. So have a great day, and we'll see you next time.